And again, though, but if Mike has gone as far as scrubbing social media of any reference to the Cowboys, if Mike already put out that statement a while back saying, I no longer want to play for the Cowboys, you're saying he should just about face and just suit up. Like, he's taken it this far. You still feel like after all that, starting week 1, playing and potentially getting hurt and hoping that Jerry, in the spite of injury, might still give him the bag? How do those work?
When you phrase it like that, like I'm jammed into the corner there. I mean, and leave a little bit room, please. Yeah, I do. I think what you do is you back channel this. You go to the agent, you have the agent reach out to his side, Jerry's side, and you don't need to do this publicly. You say, look, we got to move this thing forward. In the interest of progress, in the interest of not putting any egg on your face, he's going to show up and play against Philadelphia. He's going to do that under the impression that you are willing to come back to the table and, to Stephen A's point, not give us a take it or leave it offer, and we move this thing forward. That's all we need right now. We need to get past the point where both sides are dug in to looking at each other saying, no, someone needs to take this first step. I would back channel that. I'd say, I'm going to go ahead and play against Philadelphia.
Right.
But we're going to expect a change on the other side quickly.
Somebody's lying. Because Jerry Jones is like, he called me first. Micah's position is, I did no such thing. I was called by the Cowboys because they wanted to have some kind of leadership conference.
Correct.
Okay. And that leadership conference that I thought I was coming to talk about, they turned that into a contract, discussion about his contract. And then Micah turned around and called David Mulligeta and was like, why he's asking me about this kind of stuff? I don't know this stuff. And then his agent instructed him what to say, what not to say, et cetera, et cetera. And then Micah said, okay, and he called back Jerry and told him to call. That's Micah's position. Jerry Jones is saying, he called me for negotiation. Somebody lying. Somebody's lying. It's just that simple. Now, I've been around Jerry a lot. I've never seen Jerry look me in the face and say, I'm lying. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen that happen. You know what I'm saying? And I've never seen that happen before. And my position is, okay, at the end of the day, the bottom line is this, though. Without talking to David Mulligeta, how do you, and this is the part that Micah, that's why I asked Micah to sit down, because Micah's got some explaining to do, too. How is it that you sat down with Jerry Jones and he turned it into this, but Jerry Jones believes we got this number and this amount of years carved out, et cetera. How did it get to that? If you didn't go there, and I'm not saying that Micah's not telling the truth or anything like that. I'm just saying the conversation clearly appeared to go more in depth than it needed to go. Because Jerry wouldn't be in a position to say, I thought we had this agreement, even though it's not really an agreement, because you should be negotiating with a 25-year-old player.
Give me the last word,
Stephen A., let me say this, because I know a lot of people are struggling with that, with Micah and Jerry having a face-to-face sit-down in a negotiation. I wasn't in the room. You weren't in the room.
Correct.
None of us were in the room when this was happening. But I do know this. Jerry Jones, he's the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, but he's also the owner.
That's correct.
And if the owner of a business that you work for asks you to come into his office to have a conversation,
you got to come.
You going to take your ass in there and have that conversation.
No question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay?
No question.
And so that is the power imbalance that we're talking about.
Exactly.
And that's why organizations typically have a general manager in that role and not the owner.
Right.
And that's the issue with Jerry Jones continuing to operate in this capacity. It speaks to what you said earlier. This is
on a brilliant radio
This is
show,
a methodology from a bygone era.
Right.
This is before Freeman
totally
McNeil and Reggie White sued for free agency. This is before the salary cap existed. This is how Jerry Jones came into the NFL doing business. He's trying to do the same thing 4 decades later, and it does not work.
Before. It worked.
It's worked before, but here's also a tricky part, and I totally agree with you. Because listen, damn it, I'm in my 50s. I ain't going in there without my representation. I might meet with you if you ask me to, because the power structure is what it is. But I'm also going to sit up there and say, look, man. That's my agent's job. I don't know this. I know what I want. I know what I would like, but it's up to him to negotiate. My point is this. There's a difference between that and the owner feeling like there's a deal. So in other words, somehow, some way, it may have gone too far. But in the same breath, I'm like, the brother 25, and he a football player. I mean, damn, Jerry, you can't expect. What's wrong with you?
Point well taken.
And I've asked him that.
Point well taken, Stephen A. But let me just finish up with this. If Jerry Jones wants to talk to you about contract, that meeting is over, not when Micah Parsons says it's over.
When he says
it's over when Jerry Jones says it's over. So you know what Micah's doing as a 26-year-old in that meeting? He's nodding his head, listening to everything Jerry Jones is saying. They're not in there going through contract payment schedules, escalators, clauses. They're not doing all of those things.
Right.
They're not. So when you say you're exchanging proposals in a meeting with Micah Parsons without his agent, I struggle to believe that that's the case. What's far more likely is that Micah Parsons took the meeting because the owner wanted to have the meeting.
But Jerry is saying he's always done it this way, and then Steven, Andrew, or whomever ultimately come in with the paperwork and all of that stuff after that's done. So he's saying that he hasn't deviated from who he's been.
Okay, I need to deviate from what you're saying. Right now, coming up, we are going around the NFL to tell you how many games your favorite team is going to win this year. It's a lock. And also, Paul Feinbaum joins the show next to react to Urban Meyer's strong comments saying the NFL should punish.
The gates were still open, so I'm like,
yeah. All right, look who joins us. Paul Feinbaum, hello. Paul, should the NFL punish Harbaugh for his actions at Michigan?
Kimberly, that is the first time in my entire life I've ever agreed with anything Urban Meyer has said. He is 100% correct. I'm in shock that I actually like something that Urban is thinking about, but he's right. And Jim Tressel did virtually nothing in that case, if you remember. It was about tattoos. It was absurd. And what Jim Harbaugh has done is highway robbery. I mean, he stole a national championship. It's simple as that. He used Connor Stallions, and then he lied, he obfuscated, he misled. He's truly beyond hypocrisy. And this is the same guy, Chris and Stephen A. and Kimberly, that shot arrows at everybody a couple of years earlier. He accused Nick Saban of cheating. He accused Kirby Smart. He just blanketly accused everyone. And now look at him holding up a banner. And as soon as he gets the bonus, he hightails it out of town with no penalty. Now, do I expect anyone at the Chargers or the NFL office to do anything? Of course not. But it would be nice if somebody acknowledged it. It would be nice if Harbaugh even addressed the situation, which, of course, he has not and will not.
All right, Chris, you heard very strong words, beyond hypocrisy, and stole a championship. What do you think about what Feinbaum had?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't think that Michigan stole a championship. Ultimately, they had to go out there and play the games, and sign stealing has been happening since the beginning of football. So it's something that's always going on. But the bigger issue that I have is that the NFL is a private business and a separate entity than the NCAA. And I just don't believe in punishing the LA Chargers and their current staff, their current players, that organization.